we are not just turning our attention to government. The reason why we are talking about, the three of us are discussing these issues, is so that whatever it is that you think you've understood from what is said in the news, in the press, you can get more perspective. Exactly. You understand? Listen.
An uncontrolled perspective.
Exactly. If we continue like this, there's every tendency that we will repeat the same mistake we made in 2015. I understand that for some of us out there, we don't see it as we made a mistake outrightly. No problem. No problem. I just want you to understand, that we have lost more people needlessly in Nigeria. I want you to understand that people are suffering, that they're suffering the kind of suffering that they shouldn't suffer at all. Now, until we get to the point where those people's plights become our own problem as well, we don't have a country.
In front of your building, sitting on the steps, feeling no feelings. Last night it was a cold killing. You gotta keep the devil in his hole, nigga. But you know how it go, nigga. I'm front line every time it's on, nigga. 100 pro flow, running shoot pro, 458 drop, playing bulletproof soul. Every few shows I just buy some new gold. Circle got smaller, everybody can't go.
Welcome to episode 14 of Reactions. It's still Reactions, yeah? Yes, so don't get confused, yeah. My name is Mr. Sal. Joining me...
My name is Mr. Houston.
Okay. Henry Oqua, please introduce yourself, Pico.
How do you guys like our new set?
Let us know our new venue.
Our new venue.
I'm with Houston now, yeah, a new venue. Yes. Anyway, we've wasted so much time today behind the scenes, so we have very little time to get to business today. So before we go on, please subscribe to Page 36 TV on YouTube, like this video, share and comment if you feel like contributing to the conversation. How you guys doing anyway? Quick, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, and I don't know about Harry.
You're busy.
Sorry, it's Friday, but it doesn't feel like Friday at all. Because work is still on, it's past 6 and, still having to respond to messages and whatnot, but we're here now.
Okay, you guys good? Are you good? Are you good to react?
Yes, we are.
All right, let me get to the business for today. So President Muhammadu Buhari, in an exclusive interview with Arise TV on Thursday morning, said the following. So what I did, I broke the president's speech or interview, into different bits. So I'm going to read some parts, then you guys just react if you have anything to say.
Okay. If
you think it's trash, we trash it on the dustbin. So when asked about his take on the clamor for state police in the country due to the incessant insecurity, giving an example of the Southwest region, the president said that 2 Southwest governors came to Abuja to cry out to him recently about the unrest in the region, that's in their region, and he sent them away, telling them that they campaigned to be elected and they were elected by the people of their states. Henceforth, they should go back and figure things out for their people. He added that the leaders of the state, including traditional rulers, know their regions better than he does, noting that the governors cannot just win elections and sit back expecting him to come from Abuja to do their jobs for them. Who wants to react to this first? Let's address this first bit. Mr. Henry Oqua, do you want to go first?
I think this is a very clear example of why Buhari's managers try to stop him from coming out to the press. You understand?
What you mean?
Now, this is not the first time that Buhari is giving this kind of response to state police. You understand? Now, the state police argument is a fundamental part of our restructuring clamor. Everybody around the country. Now, it is not just about North and South anymore. The North and the South have agreed that Nigeria needs to be restructured. It appears that only the president is out of the loop. He's the only person who is not aware of this. Now, how do you tell me that there's a security issue in the Southwest or in the South or across Nigeria? You are the chief security officer. You are the commander-in-chief. The armed forces are in your hands. You understand? So you are the one who appoints the IGP. You are the one who appoints service chiefs. You understand? These governors have no say over any of that. The police, the police council appoints the AIGs, the DIGs, the control, what do they call them? Commissioners and whatnot. What control do these governors have? You can't tell them to go back to their states and go and figure things out. It is your responsibility. If the president does not understand that, I'm sorry for him. But he's completely out of touch.
Because he did not, okay, answer the question by saying he sent them away, So when I looked at this, I actually almost supported him by sending the governors back, because we have instances most times where we have these governors coming to Abuja. Some of them literally even live here. Most of them they're always in Aso Rock sometimes. We have the governor of Benue State. Most times when there are attacks in Benue State, he runs to Abuja. So I was reasoning with him. Why does he actually come here? And you just answer that question. He comes to Abuja because his hands are tied. He really cannot do anything about it. So he comes to bring this problem to the president. But now the president is saying that that's not his responsibility. They know their regions better. They were voted to office by the indigenes of the state, and they should go and sort it out.
So you understand? You understand what this means, yeah? For Buhari to say stuff like this, it means that he does not care. That's what it means.
Doesn't care, or he does not know that is his responsibility.
No, he knows. Buhari is aware of what his responsibilities are. At this point, Buhari just doesn't care. And I've said this before on other episodes, that Buhari is being deliberately, dishonest. You understand? It's irritating. You understand what the law says. You know the limitations on these people. I even feel like this is what is happening across the whole country when governors come to give him security reports. You understand? Because if not, how did we find ourselves in this situation?
He actually said it with his mouth that he chased the two of them.
Do you understand?
Exactly.
So what is happening when the governors in the northeast come to him with reports? What is happening in the southeast as well? What is he doing?
Mr. Houston, what's your take on this, man?
Well, situations like this will make you understand why Governor Wike once said he's not the chief security officer of his state.
He's not.
He said he was the chief logistics officer of his state. And people got laughing exactly because imagine when the president claims to be delighted when governors claim to be chief security officers of their states, but then you turn them back, you pursue them back to the states to go and wield or express some non-existent power that they don't have. We've seen situations where the presidency falls out with a particular governor and he calls back all the police officers, he withdraws all the police, all the police detail from the governor. So in such situations, you get to understand why most states have clamored for state police and all that, because clearly all the state governors have in their disposal is information sharing and things like that. They come when they are at their wits' end. They run down to Abuja and they tell what's happening. Just like Henry rightly said, you've seen Governor Orton come down here to Abuja severally, like, look, my hands are tied. This is bigger than me. What are we going to do? Secondly, I think it's a complete disregard for your people as the president, or the number one citizen in the country, to turn back people who are bringing certain reports, like security reports to you. Why would you turn them back and you boast about it on TV, like people are going to clap for you, like that's my general, that's my king? Like what the hell is that? You don't turn people back. These are very important issues. People are coming to tell you that, look, this is what the problem is. Okay, you turn them back. But when people start protesting in their states, when protest goes from peaceful to radical, then you send military down there. Like, things don't have to get that bad for the president to act. And that's exactly what we've seen in this country.
Things are very bad.
Things are very bad.
Of people dying every day.
Some episodes back, I told you, I said, if you allow me, like technically, I'll tell you, the presidency is actually indirectly responsible for the radicalization of IPOB. It started off as a very small, talk, idealist group. And before we knew what was happening, it went from the level of idea to a different level. And now they're radical. They're now wielding arms and all that. So you don't have to wait for things to get that bad.
Things are already that bad.
Things are already that bad.
Imagine Autumn going to Aso Rock to ask for help and he has been sent back.
I mean, you don't send...
Or looking at whatever is going on in Oyo, which we're going to get, because he talked about 2 Southwest governors. Yes. Imagine the governor being sent back
the president has acknowledged,
giving such reports.
The president, King Buhari, he has acknowledged that... yes, King Buhari, Emperor Buhari, has acknowledged that these herdsmen bear arms. Some of them happen to be foreigners. And, they are against Nigerian citizens. They've been killing people all over the country. It started from, the north, middle belt, wherever, till now it's all over the southern part of Nigeria. You have acknowledged that these people, first of all, bear arms. Secondly, they are, predominantly foreigners. Yeah. And you're turning back the governors to their state. Like, what?
And he did not even answer the question on state police.
Which is usual.
Yeah.
Which is usual.
I'd also like to state that the interview of the president was full of contradictions, utter disrespect for every ethnic nationality, and it was just inconsistent.
Anyway, let's move to other points that came up from that interview. So, when asked about how he plans to include more people from the Southeast and the South in general in his government, especially in security services and MDAs, President Buhari said the following, and I quote, he said, when you look at NNPC and the military, people who have been there for 18 years or even for 10 years, they train in Zaria or in Abeokuta, they come through the ranks. And because they served under all the circumstances, the crisis and everything, and they gradually rise to that status, and you think you just pick somebody just to balance up? That's what he asked. And he said, these positions have to be earned. Like he actually screamed, earned. Like those positions need to be earned. And I feel like he contradicted himself here because in one beat, he talked about rising through the ranks. Then in another beat, he talked about the positions need to be earned. But speaking further, let me just finish this bit for you guys coming. So he said, the Southeast not in civil service. You have to go through the civil service and see if there are no Southeast persons in the civil service. Let me just add here that because one of the interviewers had to tackle him, giving the example of the new appointment of the new chief of army staff, saying, you said, you're saying right now they need to go through the ranks, then there's a report where you have to clear a number of people just to appoint a certain person, then his own argument was that you have to still look for expertise. You need to find somebody that understands the Northeast region. And that's where I come to you, Houston, because you have said it in the past before, that the president is trying to bring peace to the Southeast, but you are sending people from the North to come and be either police commissioners or chief of army staff, so you see the contradiction going on. In one beat, you are defending why you are appointing a Northerner to go and tackle insecurity in the North, but you in the same beat, you are sending a Northerner to the Southeast. Why are you not sending somebody from that region, which you have argued here, understands the terrain to go and sort out the problem there? What do you have to say to these response from the president?
No matter how King Buhari tries to fashion his statements, it's obvious already that this Buhari's administration is a completely it has only portrayed a huge or a very, very crystal clear anti-Igbo policy from the beginning. And 50 years after Civil War, Buhari is still fighting the Igbo people. It's still against the Igbo people. It's at the psychological. It was at the psychological level. Now it's becoming, brazenly clear. Like it's becoming flagrant. Everyone is saying it right now. You have people speaking up from other tribes that are not even Igbo. They're now saying it that the Igbo people have been treated very badly. Now it's been statutorily, normal to find police commissioners from maybe the Koro tribe in Nasarawa in Benue State, or have Yoruba people in Yoruba police commissioner in Igbo land, and that's normal. But my point here is, how do you have a security briefing on a particular region, or security meeting on how to tackle insecurity in a particular region without a single, a person, like a single representative from that particular region? For instance, when he came into power, he appointed General Buratai, the former chief of army staff, and a lot of people were happy because insurgency was, it was happening. The what's it called? What's the word? One of the hotbeds for insurgency in the northeast was Borno State, and Buratai happened to come from Borno State. The National Security Advisor Babagana Munguno happens to come from Borno State as well. So a lot of us felt like this was going to bring some sort of solace to the place, having people from there who understand the terrain. We're happy about this, but now this is the southeast. If it is not an attack on the southeast, if you call it a security, try to ameliorate the situation or bring peace to the place. If it's not an attack, if you don't describe it as an attack, I believe you should have in that meeting, you should have a few Igbo representatives or a few Southeastern representatives at that particular meeting, but you don't have any of them. Now you're making excuses with the civil service. Are Igbo people not in the civil service? When we already understand the system, it's just like what's going on in the military right now. You have to retire 70 generals because you're putting somebody who is actually their junior. You're elevating him and you're telling me it's earned. Tomorrow you'll tell me it is earned. I think President Buhari is a very good reason why history should be taught in Nigerian schools, why history should not stop, shouldn't be removed from our curriculum, our national curriculum. He's a very good reason why people should always learn history. Because all of these things happening right now it's appalling. You come out on TV as the president, democratically elected, like his people bragged when they banned Twitter. His people came and bragged democratically. How do you remove the tweets of the democratically elected president? Okay, fine. You're the democratically elected president. You should come out and tell anything but lies. How do you say you don't have any qualified Igbo person or Southeasterner at the higher echelon of any of these MDAs or any of these ministries or even in the military? Well, Southeastern officers. It doesn't have to be about the Southeast. Does it have to be Chief of Army Staff from the North? Chief of Army Staff from the North. Chief of Army Staff, come on. We'll have people, we'll have experienced people who have risen up the ranks, like he said. Is he trying to tell me that in all the ministries and all the good places in this country, all the important ministries, every ministry is important, but we know what we're talking about, Nigerians. Some ministries
some are more important
than the others. Mm-hmm. Are you trying to tell me you don't have people from the Southeast in those places? See, whether the president says it or he tries to sugarcoat it, however he wants to put it, he could go ahead and put it like that. It's obvious now. You even have people that are not Southeasterners who are observing what's going on in this government, that this government is completely anti-Igbo.
Hey, Oqua.
So is there really anything to add to this?
Okay, let me move to the next one. So when they asked the president how exactly he intends to lift 100 million citizens out of poverty, which has been one thing they've bragged about. He's bragged about that several times. He intends to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. We don't still know how. So they had the opportunity right now to ask him how. What's wrong with me? Yeah. So the president said, so he responded and said, try and appreciate what efforts the federal government has done. 1, we have removed the service chiefs and the Inspector General of Police, appointed new ones. We made sure their priority is to bring normalcy, to accept the responsibilities of their office and perform. They are working very hard on that. He stated further that he does not want to give the criminals too much information, so he didn't want to say much, but reiterated his promise to treat them in the language they understand, referring to the criminal bandits, adding that sooner or later we will all see the difference. He's one that threw me off, man, because I'm like, okay, Baba, did you understand the question that you were being asked? How do you intend? At this point in time, I felt like the president had lost his mind.
It's not, the funny thing, it's not the first time.
It's not the first time. Before he got into office in 2015, there was a point where he presented himself, he presented another presidential candidate to us and then corrected himself. He called his own party, what did he even call his party? He called his vice president Osibade. So many things, you understand? So
called Aribe Shabaf Ogboni.
Ogboni. Now,
Ogboni. I didn't hear that one.
Now, they asked him a question about inclusion in government when he newly came into office. He gave us the 97 and 5% analogy. So this is Buhari. I think before he comes to the media, he has a set of talking points, and because of probably maybe it's slipping, maybe he's losing a bit of it. He's old. It's given. These things happen. We've seen our grandparents suffer from some of these things. You understand? So it's possible that after rehearsing his talking points over and over and over and over again, he's now on autopilot. They ask him a question about one thing, he's answering about another
thing entirely.
So that's
but he's the one that came up with this plan to lift 100 million citizens out of. You should know it now.
Buhari.
See, I think
Sorry,
I think it was only fair to move past that question quickly, because imagine if you had to start asking him questions regarding the promises he made. Like he probably would have started talking about the election in China and
you guys need to understand something here.
Oh, wow.
The Buhari that had that kind of debate that he had.
But
do you remember the Kadaria debate?
Which one is that?
The one with Kadaria that they were asking him about.
Oh yeah, that was Ivanjo was at his side.
He's the same person.
No, comparing to that interview though, I felt like he did better this time. But this was pre-recorded and edited, so I don't know what went on behind the scenes. And even after pre-recording and editing, and this what came out. And at some point though, like for this kind of question, when you ask a question as a journalist, this Arise TV that will hold in very high esteem. If the president does not answer the question, you let the president know that he has not answered the question. That the question was, how do you intend to take 100 million people out of poverty?
You think that we are in a democracy? If there's suppression, if there's censorship, we are not in a democracy. Those journalists, we do not know whether they were even threatened. In fact, the crew that normally carries out these interviews are three. Abi?
Yeah.
There are three. The other young fellow was not there.
Yeah, Mr. Rufai. Yeah.
He usually ruffles feathers.
Very vocal
exactly.
One, yeah.
He usually ruffles feathers. So what is to say that maybe he was even admitted in the first place, and then they say, no, wait, we know you very well, turn back. It's very possible. It's very, very possible.
Because I noticed the lady, the Abiola lady was withholding
exactly.
a bit. She was trying to go, but so, I felt like she needed to respect wherever was going on there. Exactly, yeah. Because I feel like, okay, in as much as we want to tackle the journalists, if they did not like this interview, the interview would never go out anywhere.
Exactly.
I also understand the Buhari's aides actually have to look at the questions that's going to be asked, because you're not allowed to ask him any kind of question. Remember the first tenure in office, when we had him do that, was it podcast chat, where he had to, over the phone, he had to respond to Nigerians directly, where they were reading questions for him. That brutal one, where there were questions that were thrown at the president, and he was like, some questions were like, ha ha ha.
Oh, they were showing him.
Some questions had a smirk on his face, was like,
oh my god, I even forgot about that.
A lot of us have forgotten about that, just like you rightly said, the president never changes. There were questions that were thrown at him, and it was like, I remember then some people tweeted, they were like, man, this person asking this question relaying this question, better remind this man that you're only reading people's questions. The questions are not coming from you, because this man might slap you very soon.
We missed Twitter.
So he ended up not answering this question. So let me move to this other bit. Houston, get ready to react to this one. So apparently referring to everyone from the southeast like they are members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, because that's the way I perceive that. Okay. Yes, because the way he made this statement, and I'll show you where I felt he was doing that here. The president said, IPOB is just like a dot in a circle. Even if, because they were asking him about IPOB. Yeah, so he said IPOB is just like a dot in a circle. Even if they want to exit, they will have no access to anywhere. Wow. And the way they spread all over the country, this is where I felt he was referring to every Igbo man as an IPOB member. Because Igbo people are the ones spread over Nigeria doing businesses in different cities. The ones agitating are the ones back home in the southeast fighting for their cause. So he went on to say, and the way they are spread all over the country, having businesses and properties, I do not think IPOB knows what they are talking about. In any case, we say we will talk to them in the language that they understand. We will organize the police and the military to pursue them. I don't know what he meant by pursue them. God,
Chase them.
He said he will get the police and the military. So this is different from the tweet that had civil war or whatever thing. He went on here to say, we will talk to them in the language that they understand. That's reiterating what he has said before.
Sorry, before you have Houston react to this,
Yeah.
Sometimes, as much as we feel like certain things are beyond the grasp of the general bar, he does have a way of doing certain things that will make you think that this man is for faking this thing. Let me give you an example. I belong to nobody and I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody. Nigeria has not found a punchier, more punchy slogan anywhere. In the language that they understand, has also picked to that level. You understand? Now, for him to say it then, for him to reiterate it on the question of the bandits and say it again for IPOB.
Exactly, he said it like twice during this interview.
I think it means that he believes this thing very well. Do you understand? It is something that is coming from his own. He probably even said, no, remove this one and add this one. That's now. Houston, please just continue.
Yeah,
Just like I told you before, I said the president Buhari has always had this. He's always had this anti-Igbo policy from time. Like, he's never liked the Igbo people. If you observe right now, like how many generals from the 1960 war, 1967 war, how many of them are still very much alive? Buhari happens to be one of them. People who fought, during the war and all that. So he has this, soldier way of wanting to do things. But beyond that, it is the fact that it is not just Buhari that sees every Southeasterner as a member of IPOB. I mean, look at Danladi Umar during the Banek stuff. He said it is these Biafran boys. So basically, a few of us still call ourselves Igbo people, whilst in the north they already perceive us as IPOB. They see us as IPOB people. And with the president saying this, I mean, even the Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So for the president to call them IPOB, to say IPOB, of course, he sees everybody as IPOB. So even when he said he was going to talk to the people in the southeast in the language that they understand, so apparently he intends to met such treatment out to not just the insurgents, but the innocent people in the southeast.
Exactly.
So this is how he sees us. This is how he sees the people in the southeast. It is quite unfortunate because I don't think there's any Igbo man who would say every northerner is Boko Haram. Do you understand? I don't think there is any Igbo man who would want to prescribe the Shia movement that's going on right now, even though they're a section of Islam. We would not say these people are terrorists. Do you understand? Right now, it's on record that only Buhari and the entire APC government, they are the only people in the world, and the world of over 7 billion people, they are the only ones who actually see IPOB as a terrorist group. It is on record that Buhari does not see the bandits as a terrorist group. Buhari does not see the Fulani gun-wielding herdsmen as a terrorist group. So, for him to look at these people, it shows you how much hate. It's been 50 years, for crying out loud, since 1970 till now. And this president still hates, he still sees the Igbo people as his enemy. Like, he still sees them like that. So I don't even know what's holding him back from, wanting to met out that language thing he keeps talking about to these Igbo people. But my brother, well, I think for me, I've moved past Buhari. At this point, I'm only hoping, because a system that provided Buhari can actually do worse. A system that gave us King Buhari, a system that can produce Buhari for Nigerians. I'm saying this to every Nigerian out there. A system that can give us somebody like King Buhari can actually produce worse. So Nigerians should be very, very watchful. Nigerians have to be very
We'll be
watchful.
very watchful, though. I
so
really
as
hope
well.
we will be watchful, because I see people commenting on the clips of this interview on Instagram and stuff. I hope we don't just laugh and just comment. I hope we pay attention to make sure, like you have said several times, we do not repeat this mistake again.
Because it was actually that language that took down his tweet.
Yeah.
Was that language
and
that
you
took down
come
his
back again.
and you
So
come back
even if
to
you don't
reiterate
put
it.
civil war, and that thing you talked about where you're generalizing right now, and these people are doing businesses, like you said, all over the country. So what if they start facing attacks? You don't know the power. You're an influencer. There's power in your words as a president, and he has a lot of fanatic followers. So and there are people from the southeast, like you've said before, that don't even support the Biafran thing. When you start generalizing everybody, then you're putting everybody at stake.
I see myself as a Biafran because of the participation of my ancestors in whatever struggle they had by my geographical location. But I don't see myself as a member of IPOB.
IPOB, which he used. He used IPOB. He didn't even use Biafra.
Exactly, because
Exactly.
IPOB is a movement. IPOB is not Biafra. IPOB is not just Igbo people. IPOB is a movement for the well-being of the Biafran people, for the, supposedly emancipation of the Biafran people. And it is a group that has become radical. These people had forms that they filled, or they had oaths that they took. We've heard of things like this. I never took any oaths. I never signed anything. I never filled any forms. So why would anybody in his clear mind or unclear mind look at me and want to categorize me as, a radical insurgent? You shouldn't. I think it's wrong. Like, if I were in a proper democracy, I could have actually sued for that. Because you don't look at a particular group of people and call them, name them after a prescribed group. Why would you do that? It's like coming to the north and saying,
Everybody
those Boko Haram people.
You don't need to go to north.
teach
It's like
them-
saying
talk
all
to
the
them their language.
northerners around the country, are terrorists.
For crying out loud.
Come on, man. Anyway, for our own conclusion
Colonial girl was in
on
this
this interview, I beg, because the other part,
There are parts of the interview that we did not
we didn't touch on. I want to talk about. I have one more.
This I don't know if it's skewed here. The one where he was talking to young people and telling them
Yes. Yeah.
They want
So
jobs.
let me talk
They should
about
behave
this one.
themselves.
So when President Buhari was asked what he plans to do to make Nigeria more attractive and a more competitive destination for foreign direct investment, as FDI, to stop us from losing foreign direct investments to countries like Ghana and other countries around. So he said, and I quote, this question was answered during the NSAS protest. Then he goes on to say, you remember the young people who wanted to march here and remove me? All of them kept quiet. My answer, I was looking at, everybody kept quiet, nobody even laughed.
What?
Yeah, so he said, my answer to that, to FDI question right now, I got the members of the Executive Council. If you recall, by the Constitution, there must be a member of the Executive Council from each state. Every state must be represented. So I got them and asked each one of them to go to their states, speak to their governors, traditional rulers, speak to the business people, and tell them that the federal government, there is no more vacancy. It is full. Go to any state governor now and ask him to give you a contract or a job. He will tell you there is no vacancy, even the local government. So you may have to, he says, so you may have a good degree, but you may die without even a job. Did I hear that part? Well, I tried to listen to that part. He said you may have a good degree, but you may die without even a job. Then he goes on to say, I didn't write the other part of the quote. So what he ended up saying here is that the young people who he claimed were marching to remove him from Aso Rock last year during the NSAS protest are the reason why we do not have foreign direct investment. He said if we want people to come and invest in Nigeria, the young people need to behave themselves and act like human beings and stop causing trouble up and down. If we keep causing trouble, nobody will come and invest in a country that has insecurity and criminality and whatever.
One question. Just one question, please. Mine is a question. I just want to ask one question. It's a very simple question.
Yeah.
Talking about foreign investment, does the president also understand that Twitter is actually a foreign investment? Does he understand that Twitter, Nigeria, is actually being run by young people? Does he understand that
Does he understand that the world is watching how he's treating Twitter?
Exactly. And does he also understand that before he tries to portray himself as somebody who has the interest of young people or young Nigerians, he has brazenly, flagrantly told young people of Nigeria that he doesn't like them in every form, manner, and action that he's taken. He has shown young people of Nigeria that he doesn't really give a shit about them.
Before you lose your mind of thought.
First, governors should go and secure their states.
Oh, yeah. Not his business.
Oh, yes, not his business. Second,
foreign direct investments.
The children should behave themselves. If not, there will be no foreign direct investment.
So we are to blame.
Sorry, please, what's the job of the president? Ministers should go and talk to their governors.
Yes, go to talk to the traditional rulers, talk to the governor.
No, you're not understanding. You're not understanding. The first one is
President Buhari has thrown away his responsibilities to the dustbin.
What is the use of the president then?
I don't know, Oqua.
If the young people are the ones who are responsible, then I'm not even going to get to the lack of sense in that statement. But young people are the ones that are going to attract foreign direct investment.
You need to behave well so that FDI can come.
The topic that we're even going to discuss after, we will see that young people have actually brought the foreign direct investment. By our share, the amount of fintechs in Nigeria, phenomenal. Not seen in any other African country. Nigeria is actually driving the whole tech industry in Africa. And we have a president. This is the same person that called us lazy Nigerian youths. This is the same person.
The same person that banned cryptocurrency.
You are banning everything that will make your economy thrive. And you're telling young people to behave themselves.
I think it's a crime to be a young person.
And the thing I didn't like here, though, because you're a president, you're not a god. You see, you've called him a king, we've called him certain name because he acts like a lord, he acts like a dictator. You know, and I've seen many people react to this interview and say they expected the president to call for dialogue. If the president did not understand why we were protesting last year, then I don't think there's anything to talk about again, to be honest. Like, if Buhari did not understand why we were saying answers, if the president did not understand that people were being killed, you know, that people were being harassed, these young people, does he think people are jobless, that they don't have things to do? Does he understand how people even withstand the hardship of this country? How young people try not to commit crimes?
Do they read the placards?
Don't you care? If your children are being harassed, there are some of these people that they take to chorus and kill them. There are people that died in the hands of SARS.
How many bodies did the coroner at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital say were deposited on the night of October
99 bodies?
Can you imagine?
Bodies?
Can you imagine?
And now we're getting those information.
That's what the president is saying was
they were marching to come and remove him from Aso Rock.
You know, right now, I think it's a crime for anybody to be young in Nigeria. Because, I mean, clearly, look at the things that's happening. It's not their fault that they do not understand that young people were not trying to oust the president from office. But young people were only... No, it is not... 1 minute, I'm coming, I'm driving at something. It is not the government's fault that they do not understand. But I think it is also their fault that they do not think when they attack young people for doing the right thing. Between 2020 and 2021, I've come to realize that young people are not just living a crime in Nigeria. They're not living a life, they're living a crime. When you attack these people by force, as if that's not enough, you also look at the situation, look at how they're protesting without reading what's written on their placard. You think by force too. It's like everything in this administration, everything in this government is by force. Because I believe if anybody who had the president's interest at heart or had the nation's interest at heart had calmed down in this administration to understand, hear the chant, these young people sang the national anthem, these young people held the Nigerian flag and were shot at. These same young people had placards where all of their plights, everything that they wanted was written. If you guys calm down, if people were using force.
They even sent 5 points request to the presidency or wherever that said they received whatever.
This guy just... These people don't just address young people by force. They also think about young people by force. Because if only they could calm down, they probably would understand better that young people aren't really holding this country back.
I want to use this opportunity to talk to everybody who is watching us, everybody who has been listening. Listen, this Reactions podcast was born out of the NSAS protest, was born out of our frustration with things not working the right way. Now, we are not just turning our attention to government. The reason why we are talking about, the three of us are discussing these issues, is so that whatever it is that you think you've understood from what is said in the news, in the press, you can get more perspective. Exactly. You understand? Listen.
An uncontrolled perspective.
Exactly. If we continue like this, there's every tendency that we will repeat the same mistake we made in 2015. I understand that for some of us out there, we don't see it as we made a mistake outrightly. No problem. No problem. I just want you to understand, that we have lost more people needlessly in Nigeria. I want you to understand that people are suffering, that they're suffering the kind of suffering that they shouldn't suffer at all. Now, until we get to the point where those people's plights become our own problem as well, we don't have a country. We don't have a country. We don't have a nation. Now, you may think that we're being too hard on the administration. We're saying one thing or the other out of context in your own view. No problem. My own is, if you're not ready to change your position, I'm ready to change my position. I believe you still are ready to change your position.
We are ready to have a better country, man.
Exactly. And the only way we can do that is dialogue. The things that we're putting on the table today, if you don't agree with some of them, hit us back. Tell us. You have our social media handles there. Tell us that, okay, these things, you don't like them or
this
something.
This has nothing to do with any political party.
It doesn't.
Like, we're just Nigerians that want the best for this country at the end of the day. And if we don't call out these things and we just keep laughing and joking with our future, I wonder the country we will have ahead of us.
There will be no country.
So let's move on to the next pressing matter. So the President Buhari federal government on Friday, just after we finished recording last week Friday, announced the suspension of the operations of Twitter in Nigeria indefinitely, citing the persistent use of the platform for activities that are capable of undermining Nigeria's corporate existence after the platform deleted the president's civil war in quote tweet. So on Saturday, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, announced that anyone found using Twitter after the ban would be arrested and criminally prosecuted. He, however, clarified that today anyway and said he's not arresting anybody using Twitter. So later, the National Broadcasting Commission on Monday ordered all broadcasting radio and television stations in Nigeria to suspend the use of Twitter in disseminating information with immediate effect. So no TV station in the country or radio station can tweet at this time. So on Wednesday, the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, said the following, and I quote, "What we are saying is that all platforms, you must register in Nigeria. You must be a corporate entity before you can do business in Nigeria. Whether it is Netflix, Iroko, or Facebook, they are all doing business in Nigeria, making money, and they are not paying taxes. This is in addition to being able to regulate them. They are making billions of naira out of this country, and they are not paying taxes. That cannot be allowed to go on. Our conditions are laid out," he continues to say, "to do business in Nigeria, they must register as a Nigerian company." So what do you guys think about the whole Twitter fiasco? We could not discuss about it because we had already finished recording last week. So what are your takes to the suspension of Twitter, then the information minister calling for the registration of these social media platforms before they can do business in Nigeria?
I think firstly, it's safe to say the president's ego was bruised. Secondly, I don't think any of them, because it's funny how they all enjoyed Twitter. They were all enjoying it while it lasted. Unregulated, exactly. They used it unregulatedly. They promoted certain things. They announced public holidays. They announced whatever promotion. Congratulated the president. Campaigned for the president.
When the baboon and the dog were sucking blood, it was on Twitter.
Yeah. Exactly. When he was for everybody and for nobody, it was on Twitter. When everything was always on Twitter. It was good while it worked for them. And suddenly, when Twitter decided to I think Twitter has actually fought for. Twitter has actually advocated human rights, sustainability in Nigeria more than the government. I think Twitter has actually promoted sanity in Nigeria a lot more than the Nigerian government. Twitter is actually democracy personified, if you ask me, in this time. And I don't know where it is. I don't know. Maybe I feel it. Maybe I'm having an epiphany right now. But I know Twitter is going to come in. It's going to come back this week. Because I feel. Oh, next week. Sorry, next week. The ban is going to be lifted because they're just probably trying to. They're trying to like Henry has always said. Sometimes they act like make it busy with the work. They just want to give that make it busy with it, do something. Let it look like we're actually working but doing stuff. And in this particular instance, a lot of those people who are probably looking for contracts or favor from the president went ahead to chant before the president to say, yes, you cannot remove the tweet of the for crying out loud. Understand first, the president took his business to Twitter. Twitter didn't put his business in the president's face. The president went, registered, got a verified account on Twitter. So I think it's somebody's platform. It's like somebody's. I mean, their house, their rules.
Yeah.
So it's somebody's house, somebody's business. He has every reason to delete something he feels doesn't sit right. On Sunday, I was actually banned.
Violating his rules.
Exactly. On Sunday, I violated the Instagram guidelines and I was thrown out the window. It was just yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday.
You could not suspend them from Nigeria.
I couldn't suspend them from Nigeria. I couldn't suspend them from my phone either. I just kept. You know what I kept doing? I kept appealing to them. Please, I went against the guideline. I've realized my mistake. It won't happen again. And I thought they were going to. Every morning I wake up, I open my Instagram and it's not working. Until yesterday, it was yesterday I told Sal that, whoa, congrats, my Instagram. I'm happy my Instagram is back finally. They finally granted me access back to my Instagram. I didn't make any fuss over it. You know why? I took my business to their house. So it's like if the president is talking about all the things that make Nigeria actually, a good country and all the things that make us aware with, the times and what's going on in this time in the world globally. If they want to tax all of them and regulate all of them, like they say, just because these things are not always in their favor, then they might as well start regulating oil price as well. Because since we feel we're actually that strong, then they should be able to put it. They should be able to channel that strength and all of that power. They should be able to channel it in such a way where it will benefit Nigeria. You don't ban Twitter because you have rights over telecommunication companies. Then when you go for OPEC meeting, they tell you we're going to sell oil for 20 naira and you say yes sir. like what's the rubbish? You can't even dictate where it matters. But when it concerns Twitter, you're like yeah, and you find some. See, I don't know, but all the legal luminaries who are helping. Because, see, honestly, I'm not a lawyer, never been, I don't know if I'll be, but there are some cases that will come to my desk, I'll fling it off the window. I'm like, please, I need money, but I don't need some cases. This is absolutely baloney. Why do we even talk about some things? Why?
Crazy.
And you have them deactivating their accounts now and I'm not using
to show us that even the first lady, I'm like, who is that?
Yeah, that's funny. You've been using this thing all along, it's been working for you.
Yeah.
Then you might as well actually, if you are going to say they won't dictate for you, then you should throw away the presidential jet because the president doesn't have a chair that makes him feel relaxed. Or you should decide.
Another thing I want to say, this is the president that just complained about the youths, talking about us misbehaving, talking about us marching to take him out of office, and you keep poking these people. People make money from Twitter. People are influencers on Twitter. People have businesses they sell on Twitter, and you take this away from them again. What do you expect at some point?
If only they were able to channel this authority, this abrupt, because it was very fast. It happened very fast. So if they were able to channel such abrupt authority, if they were able to channel it like in the national hospital where people are dying and you're like, you let a Nigerian die, boom, you're out, you're fired,
Exactly.
I'm taking your license. If they're able to do this, I think Nigerians will hail them. I feel this government actually have
tackle the police. You harass an innocent citizen.
This particular administration, they've had several opportunities to right their wrongs. Every day, there's always an opportunity presented to these people. Till tomorrow, they will always have opportunities. See, they have approximately, say, 2 years to complete their tenure. But
The legal
they could
one.
still use. Do you know they could still use these 2 years so well and transform Buhari's image that even in the afterlife he can contest for something
And win
Hell,
posthumously.
and win posthumously. Yes,
I agree.
Oqua, please.
But they keep ignoring it.
What's your reaction to this one? Because let's go from here.
So
What do you think about the registration? Asking them at this point in time, Facebook should come and register. Netflix should come and register. Like, what are they doing? And you talked about earlier, like, you blamed FDI on us, like the failure of FDI on us. But right now, this global news, like, this news was reported around the world. Like, they even compared him to Trump. You know, so
That's
foreign
a
investors,
disservice to Trump, as bad as it
exactly.
is.
Like, it's not even like, and foreign investors are watching. You know, when they see the system very harsh like this, what will make you want to come and invest
It's
here?
not
You're
just-
not taking responsibility
it's not
at
just
all.
about the system being harsh. Yeah.
Yeah.
The tone, if you hear the tone that our public officers speak with, you will know that in their minds, they're the ones who are doing us a favor.
yeah.
By getting elected or appointed into office, they became God over Nigeria, and the rest of us are at their mercy. You understand? You hear Malami speak, Danladi Umar when he got the chance to speak. That's diminutive one, the Minister of, what do they call it? Information and Culture.
That one has been so active this week.
You remember we had just finished recording the podcast when we saw that headline and we didn't even believe it.
I did not believe it. They said, you saw me sending Amako to verify
It was his job.
Yeah.
He was the one who announced it.
Yeah.
Now, whenever I hear these news headlines, I'm not just trying to whip up conspiracy theories. I use their antecedents to try and say, who is responsible for this? Who is doing this? Up until this time, their hands were tied. Twitter banned us, banned Mr. President. They banned the God of Nigeria. They deleted the tweet, the God of Nigeria. They shout. Facebook said, I'm coming, I'm warming up. Anyway, but that's not it. Now you're telling all the businesses. What happens? So you remember there was a time under Jonathan administration where the Nigerian economy was rebased and it moved us ahead of South Africa as the largest economy in Africa.
Yeah.
What that means is that while you're calculating your GDP, there are structured sectors that you calculate. When a new sector develops over a period of time, you bring that sector in and recalculate your GDP. You understand? Now, this our tech sector that we have been trying to nurse. We've killed it. We've tried to kill it with CBN regulations on cryptocurrency. We've tried to kill it on some of these fintechs, withdrawing the license. Some of these fintechs, not even related to the cryptocurrency thing. Now, Netflix that he mentioned, Facebook that he mentioned, there was another platform. Iroko. Now, you see what they don't understand.
Imagine Google will be there.
Sir, what they don't understand. Okay, so I was even going to contribute to what Houston said. Houston said he expects Twitter to be back by next week. I don't think so. I saw a headline before I got here. Yes, I saw a headline before I got here that the Nigerian government and Buhari had registered on an Indian social media network. They had registered. They are ready to move on. It is what we are not understanding. Listen.
Who will be there though? Who are they communicating? Who will they be
The
communicating
Indians, obviously, because I don't think
you
no
don't
state Nigeria will be
understand.
there.
You
with
don't
them.
understand, sir. They don't care. They don't care. They don't want you to speak. That's the reason why phone-in programs on radio have been banned. You cannot come on radio and say something. You are the presenter of this show. If someone calls in on this show and says something that Lai Mohammed does not like, you're going to get punished. Your license is going to
be under NBC,
okay, yes, but that's basically what it is. You understand? Now you have muzzled the press. You have muzzled freedom of speech is Dadiata. We are still looking for Dadiata. You understand? Now everything, the iron curtain has dropped in Nigeria. They have actually closed it. Nigeria right now is not the form is in dictatorship. What's the worst form of tyranny? That's
Fascism.
what. Listen, man.
Fascist government.
Sal, I'm tired. Honestly, I'm tired.
We're exhausted. We want to be able to come here to talk about like good things that happen in the country. I don't want people to just think we're just here talking about negative.
Even the former president.
To report news, like there's nothing. Everybody's talking about insecurity. Even today, some students and lecturers got kidnapped again, and nobody's talking about it. So I don't know, man. And like you said, the president had the opportunity. during this interview to at least make people feel like there's hope, to give hope. I feel like he divided Nigeria more. I feel like he just came to cause more chaos by his utterances. Anyway, let's move on. We don't have time today. So on Sunday, there were reports that no fewer than 17 persons were reportedly shot dead when suspected herdsmen invaded Igangan in Ibarapa, North local government area of Oyo State, on motorcycles around 11 p.m. on Saturday, that's 9th of Saturday, and started killing and destroying properties, which continued until around 3 a.m. So that's like a 4 hours attack. So I'm going to hand over to Mr. Houston to give us a breakdown of this particular attack and why this was a main headline everywhere, because there's so much insecurity going on, but there was so much talk about this as well.
It was popular headline because initially all we've been hearing and ignoring, because it's unfortunate, a lot of people have been hearing and ignoring the typical way, has been Benue State, attacks by herdsmen in Benue, and if you look at how Benue is geographically situated, you'll find out that it looked more like an internal thing. It looked more like it was like the same Fulani herdsmen we see everywhere, and that kept attacking the people of Benue until Sunday. The Southwest, which was originally, which was attributed as the safest part of the country.
Yeah.
Sometime 2 weeks ago, somebody said, a public figure somewhere said the Southwest might be
the safest place.
Yeah, the AGF said that the Southwest might be the safest part of the country right now, and everyone's focus has been, Southeast this, Southeast IPOB, Southeast sit at home and all that. So people have always looked at the Southwest for, securing of solace, some form of solace or relaxation. And suddenly, not just any part of the Southwest, the largest state geographically in the Southwest, or your state, was attacked, and it was in the wake of the beautiful Sunday morning. A state that's predominantly Christian, people were supposed to go to church and all that, only for them to wake up to such gore that morning, bloodshed. There was so much carnage, people dead. I saw the videos and pictures. It was
Agatu Part 2.
It was like Agatu Part. It was worse, or almost the same thing. Like, I'm not here to compare bloodshed.
That went on for 4 hours.
I'm not here to compare bloodshed. Though. Yes, and it went on for 4 hours. So it was a very tragic thing. Also, people before time, they had given, in fact, I would say they gave security intelligence reports to the presidency or whoever. I don't know, but for me, a common Nigerian, to be able to see those security alert reports, I think the security agents should have actually not necessarily shifted their attention from the southeast and the north, but understand that this attacks is an attack on Nigeria or the southern part of Nigeria. I wouldn't want to be that parochial to say it's the southern part, but there's been an attack on Nigeria. Nigeria is at war by herders, Fulani herders. And these people have been ignoring this, recently focusing their attention on the southeast and the southeast this, southeast that, forgetting the other parts of Nigeria until this happened. And just like I said, this administration indirectly created the radical arm of the IPOB. It is already doing the same thing in the Southwest. The agitation for Uzodinma, I think it went a notch higher after this particular thing again. Now they've started invading states. They started, the Yoruba Uzodinma nation agitators have started going into places that they weren't even going to before. They're now coming out and saying, look, now we must really have this. Also, if you look further, you'll realize there was also a reprisal attack from the people. And it's sad when we have reprisal attacks because you don't even know who you are actually harming. You don't know if you're harming innocent citizens or, or the actual perpetrators of the crime. But the people took up arms and went after a Fulani settlement, burns down the whole settlement in Oyo State as well. But they said, reports had it that they didn't kill anybody, no life was lost. But they pursued the people from there, like move away from this place. So,
has anyone been arrested for this attack?
Yes, one person was said to have been arrested, one person was said to have been arrested, but it is allegedly, he's an alleged, perpetrator. Suspect, he's not a suspect. He's not necessarily the actual culprit. So we don't really know for now. It's the what do you call them? They said he's innocent until proven guilty. So
Yeah.
he was arrested, and from what I heard, the people who came in, they came in on motorbikes and all that as early as late as 11 p.m. So it was an all-night thing, only for the people who weren't the victims to wake up to see their brothers and sisters maimed and killed like that. There was also a particular report where one of them, a survivor said one of the Fulani men accosted him there on the floor. Before shooting him, they beat him up and told him, do not, his name is Caston, I think he's a reverend or something, or a Christian, a religious person though, said, a religious leader in the area, said he was told by one of the men, before he got shot in the shoulder, he was told, do not mention to anybody, specifically, do not mention to anybody that we are Fulani, that this thing was done by Fulani people, or we'll kill you. And just when he agreed that he wasn't going to mention, his name is Caston, you can go online and you see his name everywhere. Just after they told him that, they still shot him at the shoulder again. So it was just so much carnage that went on in one night in Oyo State. And this goes to let Nigerians know far and wide everywhere that this rain is not falling on one man's roof. Nigerians are going to have to be their own security at this time. And we'll take everything as if it were ours, it were happening on our doorstep. So when you hear of attacks in any place, you should just learn to protect your own place.
And continue to pray though, because when you talk about protecting your own place, and you go to bed and sleep, you don't know what's coming in the night or in the morning. We just pray to God to help us, and we pray that the government actually sits up, the federal government, because you're responsible for security, whether you like it or not. You're in charge, you're the commander-in-chief.
I have one question.
What's the question, Mr. Houston?
I'll make it fast. Is it possible that those who have the interest of the Fulani herders, those who have their keen interest at heart, is it possible that they can actually take these people abroad and teach them a more productive way? Because carrying cattle is not so productive. But
Are you on that one when the president has said something? I'm not even going there because I didn't even talk about whatever he said concerning the cattle rearing and whatever. So let's move on, people.
You actually want to discuss Hope Uzodinma on this podcast?
Yes.
No. I refuse. I'm not. Well, at least I'm not going to say anything about it.
He's a governor, though.
There's really nothing to talk about.
Don't allow me. Use
there's really nothing to talk about Hope.
No, but we have to talk about the insensitivity of this.
Okay, we talk about it. We'll probably just joke around.
Yeah, because if we ignore when leaders make this kind of statements,
so okay, go ahead.
Then yeah.
What has he said?
Anyway,
what has he said again?
So the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, after his visit to the presidential villa during the week, made the following statements when questioned by State House correspondents. So he said, I quote, I'm going to be reading the entire quote. So he said, part of the problem of this government is the deliberate attempt by some group of people to pull it down. Because nobody is telling me that this government is not performing, that salaries are not being paid, or that roads are not being constructed, or the railway is not working, or the various intervention funds to empower our youth are not being given out. Wow. That reminds me, I actually applied for that 3 million or 5 million, whatever they said they were giving during the COVID for businesses. I didn't get a dime. Let me put that out there. Yeah. So he goes on to say...
viewers will say that's why you're bitter.
Okay, that's a business though. So he goes on to say, nobody has come in concrete terms to accuse this government of one failure or the other. All we hear is that herdsmen and farmers are fighting, and for that reason, 200 people are kidnapped. So people are shot down there, people are killed there. He's a governor, yeah? So what do you want the government to do? That's him asking. He says, we must be realistic. I believe in pragmatism. I believe in doing things right. Can anybody come and tell me 1, 2, 3, 4 reasons why this APC should not win in the next election? That's him asking. So he goes on to say, all I hear is that because of insecurity this, insecurity that, but you send people out in the night to go and cause trouble and use it in the day to blame the government. You guys say you guys don't have any reaction for this?
Hope Uzodinma is saying we should be realistic. Firstly, one of the problems we had before IPOB,
It's the government that has insecurity in the state.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah.
I understand he even lives in Enugu right now. He has moved from Abuja because he's been running around. He's been globetrotting because they released prisoners and they shot some people in the states. Meanwhile, Governor Zulum is still in Maiduguri, the hotbed of insurgency. Anyway, Hope Uzodinma needs to also understand that in Imo politics, which I am not so conversant with, I can understand that all of this problem started from his unrealistic election results. The people of the state feel like Hope Uzodinma was imposed on him.
You're talking about problems.
No,
Baba said he cannot see any problem. There's no problem.
He said something that everything he said there was absolute baloney, was trash. I wasn't really interested. But one thing that caught my attention was like, we should be realistic. His result wasn't realistic and we're having issues. People are starting killing people in the states. People are like, look, how can the fourth position in this election be our governor? He was imposed on us by a group of outsiders. And that's, I think, one of the worst things you could do. Do you know what happened in Imo State? That's what nobody talks about. What happened politically in Imo State or in the Imo State political climate was complete or absolute disenfranchisement. They disenfranchised the people of Imo State by having them go through the excruciating pain of having to leave your house, the comfort of your house to vote. And after all of that, you just bring another person and put for them. This is the problem in Imo State. And that is why if you listen to with every state where there's problem right now in the East, have you ever heard of them burning the governor's house? Hope Uzodinma the states, whatever is happening in the state is happening on one side, but Hope Uzodinma is also a target by these people.
Telling you that there's nothing happening in the state.
He told us one time.
They even talked about
some episodes ago. He told us he had proof.
Talked about farmers fighting.
Some episodes ago, he told us he had proof that the Imo State Owerri prison jail breakout was done to discredit the Buhari administration. Yeah. And Hope Uzodinma, whenever he talks, this is another reason why nobody takes him seriously. Whenever he talks, he politicizes everything. They're telling you people are dying, mothers are being raped, people are being named, and you're coming to tell us
about 2023.
And you're coming to tell us about 2023. Who the fuck? Who cares about politics for crying out loud right now?
Anyway, I'm just going to round this up by telling Hope Uzodinma that he's a disgrace. Yep, you're a disgrace to the governor. Yeah, you don't come out in public to talk nonsense. You're an elderly man. You should know that if you have nothing good to say, you should keep your mouth shut. Just shut up. Anyway, so let's move on to our final topic. Let me not get Henry Oqua more upset.
I'm really pissed, honestly. I've seen insecurity, this insecurity, that.
Yeah.
He's not, just like all the people that he's dealing with, he's not qualified for office. He's not qualified for office.
That's why I kept that there, because if we don't put stuff like this out there for people to hear, this is what a governor is saying, because he will come out tomorrow to ask for votes for second term.
There are people that will go and vote.
Exactly, that's the problem. So the Ibadan Zonal Office of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission during the week announced the arrest of 50 suspected internet fraudsters. They were arrested, the suspects were arrested at Alaro, Sango, Agbaje, Ijokoro, and Apete, Aladura areas of Ibadan, Oyo State. Why are you laughing? I don't understand.
I think you should work on your Yoruba diction.
Why should I work on it?
You should be able to ask some Yoruba people
before you pronounce
these things. You might find Yoruba people who will teach you to pronounce, because some people might find it offensive that you mispronounce it.
They'll find it offensive.
How is Saudi with Igbo?
Why should they find it?
Even your name. How does
I call you
Salisu?
Don't you find it offensive?
No, you pronounce my name. I'm Mr. Sal, don't do that. Yeah. Let me finish what I'm reading now. Oyo State, following intelligence on their alleged involvement in internet fraud. So anyway, I actually highlighted this for us to talk about, because it seems like every week right now, EFCC is arresting young people for internet fraud, young people every week. So I want us to discuss why young Nigerians, be it mostly guys though, I don't know whether women do internet fraudster, maybe some of them. Why do we have so many young guys right now doing internet fraud?
Do you know what they say in Germany? They say
what?
They say Germany is one of the few countries in the world where jailbreaking is actually very normal. Like you don't get an extra punishment if you successfully jailbreak, like you break out of jail and you're eventually caught. You just go back in and continue your time from where you stopped. It's believed that freedom is a natural human instinct. Now, I think survival as well, to all of us, we don't have to be Germans on this particular note. I think for every youth in Nigeria, for every human being, survival is a rational human instinct. So if the government fails to give people jobs, people would they will create jobs for themselves. And now it all boils down to those people to decide whether they're creating legal or illegal jobs.
Okay, because I want to say you must do crime.
And it's worse when somebody sees crime as his job and doesn't see anything illegal in it. So I think that's what's going on in the country right now. Because I've spoken to a few people that sympathize with
them,
with criminals of this kind. When I talk with them, most times, even on the internet, there was a time. I think that would have been the first time I ever got blocked on Instagram because the heat was so much on me. A young boy bought a Venza, a secondary school boy bought a Venza in the Oyo State. And you need to see, it was like, it was a fiesta. The zest was on a different level. You had people from everywhere celebrating this boy. Mothers, everybody came out. And they were like, Smolly finally peak. Come go buy Venza. So you could tell, I mean, peak. What's peak again? It's not getting employed in NNPC or somewhere else.
Yeah,
it's peak. You don't collect money. Yes, somebody's crying in one country. Somebody's just like crying on his head in one country.
Some don't cry.
And I saw people, and I was like, you're like, so the community turned out to celebrate with him. I just wrote 2 words: celebrating crime. My brother.
Exactly.
So it's like these people left that boy and came to celebrate with. I came to celebrate with me on my head. They said that's how the Nigerian government will kill you. The real politicians, you have not tackled them. You're coming to tackle this small boy. The haters of success. You hate his success. So you see, when people who indulge in crime like this, when they start to see when they start to see crime as their success, I don't think there's anything you want to tell them again anymore. There's no.
I mean, like I don't support the Yahoo thing or the
somebody wants
criminal
to
part.
Yeah.
You know, but. The problem I have with most of the young guys, like when they get these monies, they actually don't even know what to do with the money. Like their priorities are so misplaced, you know. You get 12 million, you spend 11 million to buy Benz, you know, and your mother is in the village, like roasting corn.
Do you know why?
You know, like they're looking for these monies for, I think, the wrong reasons. It's not like you're trying to set up a business. It's not like you're trying to do something that will send yourself to a good school or stuff like that. You know, you get these monies and
tell you why.
You want to buy Benz or you want to go to Dubai and whatnot. Is that why you're looking for money?
I'll tell you why. It's quite simple. I might sound like Magu right now when he says coronavirus corruption is one of the causes of coronavirus. But do not take it like that. Try to understand where I'm coming from now. I think one of the reasons why these boys do not invest and you see them spending extravagantly is because, first of all, the country that they come from does not help them. The country, you're talking about getting themselves good degrees and education. The country, they've also seen that people who, so to say, have done better than them educationally, people who have, education-wise, people who have attained all of that level, PhD and everything, are still in their homes. Some of them are even homeless. Some of them are jobless. They've seen that, look, every structural form or structural pattern through which one could attain success, legal success in Nigeria has been flawed by the system that we have. That's why they feel, look, you cannot deny us jobs and still try to oppress us on top of it with your own wealth or your illegal, I mean.
So is that why you spend
no.
11 million?
Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you. You know what the poverty ratio right now is in Nigeria right now? The poverty index in Nigeria right now. You see how bad it is with the inflation we have and all that. People still drive exotic cars. And these are mostly Nigerians in government. People in this administration. So when those who are oppressed get their money illegally, what do you think they're going to do? They don't want to, see, Nigerians are proud people. We don't like to be oppressed. Of course, when they get their money illegally, they want to also oppress other people too. So it's a system. I'm not. No. Now you're sounding like I'm advocating. What's it called? Crime. I'm not. I'm only trying to tell you how they think.
How they think.
It's a thought process. Yeah, it's how they think.
Thought process.
It's how they think. It's how they think. Because when you hear them, most times they're like, this person they oppress. This person they oppress. So everybody wants to oppress back. It's the normal thing. Nigerians that even get their money legally, they splurge too. But not as bad as these boys them. Nigerians would love to buy original things. We only patronize Aba because we don't have. Do you understand? Nigerians want to buy the original.
And let me put it out there, there's nothing even wrong in patronizing Aba.
No, I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong.
Some people are just competing with people that are not even competing with you.
Buy Nigeria to
buy Nigeria, man. Like, hey, why do you think we have a lot of young guys?
And our president was already wearing his
doing Yahoo. Or doing internet fraud, I don't know. I'm scared for the future generation, to be honest. I feel like priorities, man.
Very.
Yeah.
Sal, there's nowhere that you can look at this issue from that does not still boil down to the state of our country.
Yeah.
Do you understand? There's no way they're not getting the education that they deserve. Their parents don't have the jobs to provide for them. The system that is older brother go to school, younger one follow after, is not working.
It's not working.
Nothing is working in Nigeria. Insecurity is there, is rife, you understand? And I wish as well that as much as it looks as if the EFCC is, what's the word now?
Clamping down on them.
Clamping down on these people. I hope that they are even genuine fraudsters. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because a lot of time we saw there was an issue before Twitter got banned. There was somebody that was on air, and journalists were asking a suspect questions based on the rule book that the police had given them. Do you understand? All of these things are symptoms of the failed state that we are in. Do you understand? Our institutions are comatose. Our people are left without hope. You understand? This is what you get. I feel like those of us who have still not lost all our money to fraudsters, we are very lucky. Because honestly speaking, because you see okay, well, I haven't, at least not to internet fraudsters. You understand? Not to internet fraudsters. I just feel like this thing has gotten to the point, where it is jungle. Do you understand? When it is the jungle, there's no law, there's no criminal.
I like the part where you talked about lack of education, and I just want to emphasize on that here, that the education we're talking about here is not just going to school to learn physics and maths. That culture where you teach people the value of money, even
the value for themselves.
Yeah, for themselves.
Think about the value for them.
And stuff like that. I feel like we're losing all those. So this is much we can do this week.
This is the same country that a government believes that giving 5,000 naira is alleviating poverty. What do you expect?
Lord have mercy.
What do you expect?
It's not even
5,000 naira. Country that people want to drive Benz. You're giving 5K.
Yeah, imagine. Just imagine.
I mean, I'm still looking for my Land Cruiser Prado.
5K won't even fuel the Benz.
It won't, my brother. 5K won't.
Anyway, man, that's the much we can do today. So hopefully next week, I want to talk about the state of education in Nigeria next week if we don't have too many other
You're not asking to subscribe?
I'm not done now.
Oh, really? I thought you were.
I'm already done, but I'm not close.
Oh, okay. Please close. I need to leave it.
All right, we have come to the end of today's episode. Please like this video, share, please subscribe to Page 36 TV on YouTube, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching.
Don't forget to tell us what you think about our new arrangement.
Please,
we really want to hear back from you
on YouTube, on Facebook. Join the conversation. Share your opinions. Bye.